Don't fade it on a track like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out a loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make movies about. Bitch niggas get drunk.
You see that? I made the catch. That's how simple it is. What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. I'm lying. I'm not making no catches in the NFL. Let's just clear that up right now. But it's your boy, Mr. Vaughn, and we back with this NFL wild card wrap up. That's right. Wild card weekend is done. We moving on to the divisional round. Let's talk about everything that transpired this weekend. Let's start with Houston and Oakland. A game that was okay. Let me just start by saying this. All the games this weekend were extremely anticlimactic. I mean, for the fans of said teams, I'm sure they were excited because I was hella excited about the Seahawks win. But as far as tension and none of the games were close. You know what I'm saying? None of the games were close. So the Oakland Houston game was the closest game, and that game was never really in doubt. I mean, at no point watching that game did I feel like, okay, Connor Cook might lead the comeback. He might lead the comeback. So I was never really worried about that. I mean, he just was never playing good enough to even have that as a factor that he might be able to bring this team back. As far as the other games, let's talk about them. Let's start with the Oakland-Houston game. Like I said, Connor Cook just really played bad. Brock Osweiler didn't play that much better, but he played good enough to get the win. Most of that was on the defense, though. Jadeveon Clowney had a monster game. He was all over the place. I mean, you talk about a guy who was pissed because he didn't get to play in the playoffs last year. Jadeveon Clowney came to play, which is more than I could say for some other players who played this weekend, and we'll get to that in a minute. That Houston defense looked good. They did what I expected. They did what they were supposed to do. They went in there and handled business. They didn't put too much pressure on Brock Osweiler. He made a couple good throws. Yeah, Houston won. All because of you want to talk about ineffective quarterback play? Connor Cook was completely ineffective. I mean, he could do nothing. And I want to put some of it on Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. Crabtree got hurt. Amari Cooper was a non-factor, but when your quarterback is just not able to get you the ball, how much of the blame can I really put on those guys? Crabtree's still super overrated. I don't care what nobody says. Pittsburgh, Miami, another game that wasn't even that close. Pittsburgh got it done, man. Miami again struggled on the offensive side of the ball. Had opportunities, couldn't make plays when it counted. Their quarterback almost got killed. That was a mean hit. That was an extremely mean hit that they put on the Miami quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger and those guys, they did it. Antonio Brown made plays. This is one play where he just a little screen pass, should have picked up maybe 10 yards, and he takes it to the house for like a 25-yard run. Picked up a blocker. He was patient, waited for his blocker, and just ran it in. So Pittsburgh moves on to Kansas City. Houston moves on to New England. In the NFC, let's talk about the Giants and the Packers. This was the game that most people are talking about, not because it was close, but just because of how everything played out and the events that took place in this game. Let's start with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. These guys are playing some good football. If you ask people, they say they're the scariest team in the NFL right now because of how good they're playing, because of how good Aaron Rodgers is playing, because they still can't run the ball. Christian Michael, he had a couple good runs. He was effective. He got in there and he lit a spark on that run game. Didn't have great numbers or anything, but he had a couple good runs when they needed it. And what can you say about Aaron Rodgers besides the fact that he is the luckiest quarterback in the league? He made some good throws, but what's up with him and all these Hail Marys, man? That's what I mean by the luckiest quarterback in the league. Jeez Louise. This dude's lucky, man. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I don't ever want you to think I'm not giving Aaron his props as far as his skill behind center, but, man, he's a lucky quarterback. He is lucky. But he made the plays when they counted, and the Giants did not. Eli Manning, he tried. He played as good as he could, but when your receivers just don't want to catch anything, it's going to make it really tough. Odell Beckham Jr., I'm going to say it. I've never been a huge fan of his, but now I'm going to just say it. He's overrated, and he's soft. He is soft. We got signs of how soft he was when he let Josh Norman get under his skin and just basically completely took him out of the game mentally. And again, it showed up again. This dude had 3 crucial drops. One a touchdown, one a clear first down that would have had them in field goal range, and another one, while the pass was a little high, you're number 1 receiver, bro. You had hands on it. You should have caught that. Odell Beckham Jr. is a head case, and he is just not. I don't think he's built for those big time moments, man. I don't think he's a legit number 1. You can't be a legit number 1 receiver and then not show up in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. You got to play better, bro. You can't be having those drops, man. He only had 4 catches for like 28 yards. I mean, that's you're the number 1 receiver. You have 4 catches for 28 yards. On the opposite side of that, you want to look at a workman, a workhorse in this league, Doug Baldwin. 11 catches for over 100 yards and a touch. That's how you get it done in the playoffs. And that's consistency. Doug, you know Doug's going to bring it week in and week out, man. But Odell Beckham Jr., and then you want to punch holes in walls because you're mad at your performance. You should be mad at your performance. But where was that intensity and focus during the game? I didn't see none of that during the game. I'm done talking about Odell Beckham Jr. right now. He's a disappointment, and he couldn't get it done. Simple as that. Seattle, Detroit. Seattle got it done, man. They played good football. Detroit was never in this game. Seattle gave up 6 points. 2 field goals. Detroit was never in this game. But those guys, there's another case of receivers who couldn't catch the ball. Golden Tate, who had another good year, he had some drops. Ebram had some drops. This was Matthew Stafford could never get anything going. The Seattle defense just was not allowing it. And the Seattle run game came to play. That is something that was a surprise even to me. Shouts out to Thomas Rawls, rushing for over 160 yards, breaking Marshawn's record for most rush yards in a playoff game. Thomas Rawls came to play, man. And he was the absolute number 1 factor as to why we won that game. He came out and they established the run early. There was that first touchdown drive. They ran the ball, I think, 11 times and only passed it 4. I mean, it was crazy. Shouts out to Paul Richardson, too. P. Rich with the most spectacular catch of the weekend. I mean, that touchdown catch that P. Rich had was insane. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It was absolutely insane. But Thomas Rawls, P. Rich, and like I said, Doug Baldwin, who had 11 catches for over $1 and a touchdown, even though he stole that touchdown from Jermaine Kearse. But Jermaine Kearse is, again, if I got to put the one thing, Jermaine Kearse is still struggling. I want to see you get out of that slump, Jermaine. I know you got it in you. You've made such huge catches for us throughout your career, but your numbers are really, he has struggled all year. I'm not going to throw Jermaine under the bus like that. I like him. I like him a lot as a receiver. He fits in good for this system, but he's got to play better. He has got to play better. You got to step it up. We got to need you going into Atlanta. So you got to make some plays, bro. It's been a real down season for you, but you still got time to turn it around. If you start making some plays in Atlanta, and then in the NFC Championship and in the Super Bowl, you will make up for not having a good season because you have not had a good season. I still love you though, bro. So let's get it together. Jimmy Graham had some big catches. On the defensive side of the ball, Bobby Wagner is a monster. And it absolutely drives me insane that he is not legitimately being talked about as Defensive Player of the Year, as Defensive MVP. What the hell is wrong with the NFL? Bobby Wagner has tackled everybody in the league. If you played football in the NFL this year, you got tackled by Bobby Wagner. This nigga be tackling, he be tackling assistant coaches, tackling cheerleaders, it don't matter. If you step in an arena when he's in the arena, you're going to get tackled. It's as simple as that. The dude is a beast on the defensive side of the ball. And the fact that he's not being considered for NFL Player of the Year is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. So, having said that, let's talk about who's playing.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. Why does this always happen when I'm doing these videos? It's hilariously weird that it always happens.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
I always keep, just in case you guys wonder, because this has happened on another video, I got this little Bluetooth speaker that I use for my tablet, and sometimes it just decides to unpair and pair at very awkward moments. So, but it's still Seahawk everything. Seahawk everything. Anyway, let's talk about the upcoming matchups for this week. Houston going to New England. They're going to get destroyed. Simple as that. I love that defense. That defense may keep them in it for a little while, but their lack of ability to put up points, and they're playing Tom Brady, who, as much as I don't like Tom Brady, the man's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. He's going to put up points, and it's in New England. Come on. That game, I'm not even going to waste my breath talking about that game. New England's going to win. Pittsburgh goes to Kansas City. That is going to be a very interesting game. Ben Roethlisberger was seen wearing a walking boot after their win. What's his health status? That's going to be a question all week. People are going to be wondering about that. Kansas City, can they finally get over the hump and win a playoff game? I think so. I mean, Pittsburgh's a dangerous team, and it's going to be a tough matchup. I think this is the second toughest matchup of the weekend. But Pittsburgh can be beat also. We've seen that they went on a 4-game losing streak. And then they went on a 7-game win streak. So, I mean, 6 out of 7, I think it was. 7 out of 8, something like that. But, yeah, that's going to be a good game. I'm not ready to make that pick yet. The only game I'm actually picking is the New England-Houston game. I don't think that's going to be close. I think my man Jason over at TYT Sports says if Houston beats New England, it will be the biggest upset in playoff history, and I tend to agree with him. So shouts out to Jason. You know I like you guys. I always watch TYT Sports. I'm a fan. Keep up the good work. Jason, I need you to get on board with Seattle, though. Homeboy, for real. I'm going to need you to get on board with Seattle. That's for real. I know you don't like Atlanta. You already said it. So let's come on, man. I'm going to dust off this seat for you. I'll make room for you on the Seattle bandwagon, homie. Hop on with us, Jason. Green Bay goes to Dallas. Man, that's going to be a very, very interesting game. Green Bay's playing some of the best football. They're playing the best football in the playoffs right now. I mean, there's no question about that. But that Dallas run game and that Dallas offensive line is going to cause fits for them because their defense ain't nothing to write home about. And they can't run the ball. All respect to Kristen Michael, you're no Ezekiel Elliott. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And Atlanta-Seattle. Look, here's the thing about that Atlanta-Seattle game. If Seattle can bring that run game like they brought against Detroit, I know it's on the road and it's going to be tougher. But Atlanta's defense also is nothing to shake a stick at. They're nothing special. So if Seattle can bring that run game like they did against Detroit, they got a very good shot to win that game. If you can keep Matt Ryan on the sideline with some long, drawn-out drives that end in touchdowns, they got a great shot to win this game. Because you can't win a shootout with Atlanta. Don't try to outscore Atlanta. If they can keep Atlanta under 30 points, somewhere around 20, 25 points, Seattle's got a great shot to win this game. And so those are so that's the preview ahead. I'm going to get you the official picks later towards the end of the week, just like I did with the wild card week. But yeah, you know how we do. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. I did 2 hands, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn's channel, Sweatbox. Until next time, hey, man, you got to catch the ball, Odell. You got to catch the ball in big games. It's as simple as that. I'm a holla back. It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. Peace.
To the ends with you, I'ma go. To the end with you.